Every morning, before the noise of the world begins, you are given a choice. You can let the day control you, or you can control how you meet the day. Stoicism teaches us that peace does not come from outside. It comes from how we think, how we act, and how we prepare our mind. Every morning begins with a simple truth that most people forget: not everything belongs to you. Your mind often wakes up already busy, worrying about what others will say, what might go wrong, or how events will unfold. This habit drains strength before the day even starts. Stoicism teaches that peace begins when you clearly separate what is under your control from what is not. This one rule, when practiced daily, disciplines the mind more than any other exercise. You control your thoughts. You control your choices. You control the effort you give. Everything else exists outside your command. Other people's opinions, their behavior, the past, the future, the economy, the weather, delays, accidents, and outcomes all move on their own path. When you try to control them, you invite frustration. When you accept their nature, you gain calm. Each morning, the mind should be trained to ask one question: what is truly mine today? The answer is always the same: your attitude, your response, your actions, nothing more. When this becomes clear, the mind stops fighting reality. Energy that was wasted on worry returns as focus and strength. Many people wake up already angry at things that have not happened yet. They imagine problems, conflicts, and failures. This is a form of self-harm. You suffer not because of reality, but because of imagined loss of control. The Stoic mind refuses to suffer twice. If something difficult comes, it will be handled then, not rehearsed in fear beforehand. Focusing on what you control also removes the need to blame. When things go wrong, the untrained mind looks outward for someone to accuse. This weakens character. The disciplined mind looks inward and asks only one thing: did I act well? Even if the result is failure, dignity remains when effort and intention were right. This rule creates freedom. When you stop trying to control outcomes, you become free to act with clarity. You speak honestly without fear of reaction. You work hard without obsession over reward. You remain calm even when others lose control. Your stability comes from inside, not from circumstances. Practicing this rule in the morning sets the tone for the entire day. Before checking messages or news, remind yourself that none of it belongs to you. Praise does not belong to you. Insults do not belong to you. Success does not fully belong to you. Failure does not define you. Only your conduct belongs to you. This way of thinking builds resilience. When something unexpected happens, the mind does not panic. It recognizes that the event itself was never under control, but the response still is. Calm replaces anger. Thought replaces impulse. Strength replaces fear. Over time, this practice sharpens judgment. You stop wasting energy on useless struggles. You stop arguing with reality. You stop needing the world to behave a certain way for you to be at peace. This does not make you passive. It makes you precise. Every action is chosen, not forced. When you focus only on what you can control, life becomes simpler. Not easier, but clearer. The mind becomes quieter because it no longer carries the weight of the world. You stand firm, not because nothing moves around you, but because you no longer try to move what was never yours to move. Each morning, the mind often hopes for comfort, ease, and smooth progress. This hope is the source of much frustration. Stoic discipline begins by removing false expectations. Life does not promise convenience. It does not adjust itself to your plans. To expect a trouble-free day is to prepare yourself for disappointment. The Stoic way is different. You begin the day by accepting that problems will happen. Difficulties are not mistakes in the design of life. They are part of it. Delays, misunderstandings, rude behavior, sudden obstacles, fatigue, and loss appear without asking permission. When you resist this truth, every challenge feels like an attack. When you accept it, challenges feel natural. The mind stays steady because nothing feels unfair. Expecting problems does not mean becoming negative or fearful. It means being realistic. You are not imagining disasters. You are acknowledging that the world is imperfect and unpredictable. This awareness builds strength. A mind that expects ease becomes fragile. A mind that expects resistance becomes prepared. Each morning, remind yourself that people you meet may be impatient, selfish, careless, or unkind. Not because they wish to harm you, but because they act from their own confusion and habits. When this happens, you are not shocked. You do not take it personally. You remain calm because you already accepted the possibility. This practice also removes anger. Anger often comes from violated expectations. You believe things should go smoothly, and when they do not, the mind reacts with frustration. By expecting obstacles, you remove the fuel that feeds anger. The mind says, "This is what I trained for." Accepting difficulty strengthens patience. When something takes longer than expected, you do not rush or complain. When plans change, you adapt. When mistakes happen, you correct them without drama. This calm response is not weakness. It is control. This rule turns obstacles into training. Every difficulty becomes a chance to practice endurance, restraint, and clarity. Instead of asking why this is happening, the Stoic mind asks how to respond well. The problem itself is neutral. The reaction gives it meaning. When you stop demanding comfort, you gain resilience. Comfort makes the mind soft. Challenge makes it sharp. Each morning, acceptance of difficulty prepares you to meet the day without fear. You no longer cling to things going your way. You focus on doing your part regardless of conditions. This mindset also reduces anxiety. Anxiety comes from trying to control the future. When you accept that problems will arise, the future loses its threat. Whatever comes, you will face it when it arrives. You do not need to predict every outcome to feel safe. Over time, this practice changes how you see life. You stop seeing obstacles as interruptions. They become part of the path. You stop wishing for different circumstances. You work with what is in front of you. This creates quiet confidence. By expecting difficulty each morning, you align your mind with reality. Reality does not bend to desire. It moves according to its own order. When your expectations match this truth, peace follows naturally. You do not need life to be easy to remain steady. You only need to be prepared each morning. Before the day shapes you, you must decide who you will be. Not what you will achieve, not what you will gain, but what kind of person you will choose to be. This choice is always available, no matter the situation. Stoicism teaches that character is the only possession that truly belongs to you, and it must be chosen again every day. The world will try to decide for you. Pressure, temptation, fear, and comfort will all push you in different directions. If you do not choose your character early, you will borrow one from circumstance. You will react instead of act. You will excuse behavior instead of guiding it. A disciplined mind does not allow this. It chooses its values before the test arrives. Choosing your character means deciding how you will respond when things become difficult. Will you remain patient when provoked, or will you react with anger? Will you stay honest when lying would be easier? Will you show self-control when impulse demands release? These decisions are not made in the moment. They are made in the morning, in the quiet, before the world speaks. Many people tie their sense of worth to outcomes. If they succeed, they feel strong. If they fail, they feel broken. Stoicism breaks this habit. Outcomes are uncertain. Character is not. You can lose money, status, comfort, and approval, but you never have to lose integrity unless you surrender it willingly. When you choose character, you gain stability. Praise does not inflate you. Criticism does not destroy you. You measure yourself by your actions, not by reactions from others. This creates independence. Your mood no longer depends on how the day unfolds, but on how faithfully you act according to your principles. This practice also sharpens discipline. When you know who you are trying to be, decisions become simpler. You do not waste time debating right and wrong. You act. You avoid what weakens you. You pursue what strengthens you. This clarity saves energy and reduces inner conflict. Choosing character does not mean pretending to be perfect. It means being honest about your flaws and still aiming higher. It means accepting responsibility without self-pity. When you fall short, you correct yourself and continue. There is no shame in struggle. Shame comes from refusing to improve. Each morning is a reminder that life will test you. You will be tempted to take shortcuts, to complain, to blame others, to avoid effort. Character is what remains when excuses are removed. It is what guides you when no one is watching and no reward is guaranteed. This rule builds quiet confidence. You trust yourself because you know what you stand for. You do not need constant motivation. You act from principle. This steadiness is rare, and it gives you strength even in chaos. When you choose your character daily, you stop asking what life owes you. You ask what is required of you. This shift changes everything. You become less concerned with comfort and more concerned with conduct. You stop chasing approval and start respecting yourself. The Stoic mind understands that character is shaped through repetition. One good choice does not define you. Consistent choices do. Each morning decision adds weight to who you are becoming. Over time, this weight becomes identity. By choosing patience, you become patient. By choosing discipline, you become disciplined. By choosing honesty, you become honest. No single moment is dramatic, but together they form a life guided by intention rather than impulse. When the day begins, you are given a blank space. Before the world fills it, you decide what you will write with your actions, your words, and your restraint. The choice of character is quiet, but it governs everything that follows. The quality of your life follows the quality of your thoughts. Every action begins in the mind, and every habit is first a repeated idea. Stoicism teaches that the mind must be guarded with care, especially in the morning when it is most open. If you allow careless thoughts to enter freely, they will shape your mood, your decisions, and your behavior without your consent. Most people believe they are disturbed by events. In truth, they are disturbed by the judgments they attach to those events. A comment becomes an insult because the mind accepts it as one. A delay becomes unbearable because the mind labels it a problem. The event itself is neutral. The thought gives it power. Guarding your thoughts means watching them without immediately agreeing with them. Not every thought deserves belief. The mind produces ideas automatically, shaped by fear, habit, and past experience. Stoic discipline requires you to pause and ask whether a thought is useful, true, and within your control. Each morning, the mind should be reminded that it does not have to react to everything it notices. Worry, jealousy, anger, and desire often appear uninvited. You do not need to chase them or fight them. You simply refuse to give them authority. What you allow to stay becomes part of you. When you fail to guard your thoughts, you lose control quietly. A small irritation becomes a bad mood. A bad mood becomes harsh words. Harsh words become regret. All of this begins with an unexamined thought. Discipline stops the chain at its start. This practice does not mean suppressing emotion. It means understanding its source. Emotions follow thoughts. Change the thought, and the emotion changes with it. If you tell yourself something is unbearable, you will suffer. If you tell yourself it is manageable, you will endure. Guarding the mind also means choosing what you consume. Conversations, media, and constant noise feed the inner voice. When you begin the day with chaos, the mind becomes scattered. When you begin with clarity, the mind becomes steady. A Stoic chooses silence over noise when possible. This rule builds inner freedom. When you no longer believe every thought, you stop being controlled by fear and impulse. You gain space between stimulus and response. In that space lives choice. That choice defines your character. Negative thoughts often disguise themselves as realism. Complaints sound like honesty. Cynicism sounds like wisdom. Stoicism teaches you to question these disguises. Ask whether a thought improves your conduct or weakens it. If it weakens you, it does not deserve attention. Over time, guarding your thoughts creates mental strength. The mind becomes less reactive and more deliberate. Insults lose their sting. Delays lose their urgency. Praise loses its hold. You remain steady because your peace is not tied to passing impressions. This discipline requires daily effort. The mind, if left unattended, drifts toward fear and desire. Each morning is a chance to reset, to remind yourself that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who chooses which thoughts to keep. By guarding your thoughts, you protect your actions. By protecting your actions, you protect your character. This is how inner order is maintained in an outer world that offers none. The mind becomes a place of refuge rather than conflict, a tool rather than a tyrant. Gratitude in Stoicism is not excitement or forced positivity. It is clear awareness. Each morning you are given something valuable before you do anything to earn it. You are alive. You can breathe, think, and act. This alone is enough to ground the mind. When you recognize this, many complaints lose their strength. Most people wake up focused on what is missing. More money, more comfort, more approval, more time. This way of thinking creates restlessness before the day begins. Stoic gratitude reverses this habit. It begins with noticing what already exists and cannot be guaranteed tomorrow. Life is fragile. This is not meant to frighten you, but to sharpen your appreciation. Many things you rely on daily can disappear without warning. Health, strength, opportunity, and even the next sunrise are not promises. Remembering this does not weaken the mind. It strengthens it by making each moment feel complete. Practicing gratitude in the morning brings humility. You understand that existence itself is not owed to you. This removes entitlement. When you stop expecting life to serve you, you stop resenting it. You meet the day with respect rather than demand. Gratitude also builds resilience. When you value being alive, setbacks feel smaller. Loss still hurts, but it does not erase meaning. You can endure hardship because you are grateful for the chance to endure it all. This mindset creates quiet strength. Stoic gratitude is not about ignoring pain. It is about seeing the full picture. Even in discomfort, there is something to appreciate. The ability to learn, the ability to choose your response, the ability to act with dignity. These are not taken away by difficulty. Each morning, remind yourself that many people did not wake up today. Many cannot move freely, think clearly, or choose their path. This is not comparison to create guilt. It is perspective to create clarity. When you see how little is required to feel grateful, contentment follows. Gratitude also guards against arrogance. Success does not belong fully to you. It depends on chance, timing, health, and the help of others. Recognizing this keeps the ego small and the mind balanced. You work hard without believing you control everything. This practice changes how you approach the day. Tasks feel like opportunities rather than burdens. Conversations feel valuable rather than annoying. Time feels meaningful rather than scarce. Gratitude sharpens attention because you no longer take things for granted. When you are grateful for being alive, you stop rushing through life. You act more deliberately. You speak more carefully. You waste less energy on anger and complaint. You understand that every moment is temporary, and this awareness brings calm. Stoic gratitude is quiet. It does not need expression or display. It lives in the way you treat time, people, and yourself. It shows in patience, restraint, and respect for the present moment. Each morning, gratitude prepares the mind to face uncertainty. You may lose things today. Plans may fail. People may disappoint you. But you began the day remembering that life itself is already a gift. Everything else becomes secondary. This mindset does not make you passive. It makes you grounded. You still strive, but without desperation. You still care, but without attachment. Gratitude keeps the mind steady in both gain and loss. By practicing gratitude for being alive, you align your thoughts with reality. Reality offers no guarantees, only moments. When you accept and appreciate this, the mind stops demanding more and learns to stand firmly in what already is. Calm is not the absence of pressure. Calm is control in the presence of it. Stoicism teaches that pressure is unavoidable, but chaos is optional. Each day will test your patience, your pride, and your endurance. Without preparation, the mind reacts quickly and blindly. With discipline, the mind remains steady even when everything around it is unstable. Pressure often arrives suddenly. A harsh word, a mistake, an unexpected demand, or a sudden loss of control over a situation. In these moments, the body reacts before the mind. The heart races, the breath shortens, and thoughts scatter. The Stoic practice is to slow down internally, even when the situation moves fast. Staying calm under pressure begins with awareness. You notice the surge of emotion without immediately acting on it. This pause is powerful. It creates distance between stimulus and response. In that distance, you regain choice. Without it, you surrender control to impulse. Many people believe that reacting strongly shows strength. Stoicism teaches the opposite. True strength is restraint. Anyone can shout, blame, or panic. It takes discipline to remain composed. Calm is not weakness. It is mastery over the self. Each morning, you prepare for pressure by accepting that it will come. You remind yourself that today may test you. This removes surprise. When pressure arrives, the mind says, "This was expected." Familiarity reduces fear. Under pressure, the mind often exaggerates. A small problem feels like a disaster. A temporary setback feels permanent. Calm thinking cuts through exaggeration. It brings perspective. You remind yourself that no emotion lasts forever, and no situation defines your worth. Breathing becomes important in moments of pressure. Slow, Controlled breathing sends a signal to the mind that you are not in danger. This simple act prevents emotional escalation. The Stoic understands that the body and mind are connected. Control one, and the other follows. Remaining calm also protects judgment. Pressure clouds thinking. Decisions made in panic are often regretted. When you stay calm, you see options clearly. You choose actions based on reason rather than fear or anger. This practice changes how others see you. Calm under pressure inspires trust. People look to those who remain steady. Leadership is often quiet. It is shown through composure, not volume. Staying calm does not mean suppressing emotion forever. It means choosing when and how to express it. There is a time to act and a time to reflect. Stoicism favors reflection before reaction. Over time, practicing calm under pressure builds confidence. You trust yourself to handle difficulty. You no longer fear challenges because you know your response will be measured. This confidence is earned through repeated restraint. Pressure reveals character. When things go wrong, habits emerge. The Stoic trains so that calm becomes the habit, not through denial, but through preparation. Each challenge becomes training. Every stressful moment is an opportunity to practice control. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. By staying calm under pressure, you preserve energy. Panic wastes strength. Calm conserves it. You remain effective instead of exhausted. This discipline does not remove pain or difficulty. It changes how you carry them. You carry them with balance instead of resistance. When the world demands urgency, the Stoic responds with clarity. When others rush, you move deliberately. This is not slowness. It is precision. Calm under pressure is a daily practice, strengthened each time you choose restraint over reaction, awareness over impulse, control over chaos. Most people live by impulse without realizing it. They wake up and immediately react to messages, moods, cravings, and demands. Their actions are pulled by habit and emotion rather than guided by reason. Stoicism teaches that discipline begins when you stop reacting and start acting with purpose. Each morning is a chance to decide that your actions will be chosen, not accidental. Acting with purpose means knowing why you do what you do. It means refusing to move simply because something demands attention. Not everything urgent is important. Not every feeling deserves action. The Stoic mind pauses and asks whether an action aligns with values and reason before committing energy to it. Impulse is quick and loud. It demands immediate satisfaction or release. Purpose is quiet and steady. It looks beyond the moment and considers consequence. When you act on impulse, you often regret it later. When you act with purpose, regret has little space to grow. This practice begins in the morning by setting intention. You remind yourself that today your actions should serve something meaningful. Not comfort, not approval, not distraction, but progress and integrity. When intention is clear, distractions lose power. Impulse often disguises itself as urgency. You feel the need to respond immediately, to defend yourself, to indulge, to escape discomfort. Acting with purpose means resisting this pressure. You allow the feeling to exist without letting it command you. This resistance strengthens discipline. Purposeful action requires clarity. You decide what matters most and give your effort there. Instead of scattering attention across many tasks, you focus. Focus turns effort into results. Scattered effort leads to exhaustion without progress. Stoicism values effort over outcome. When you act with purpose, you do not obsess over results. You measure success by whether you acted according to reason. This frees you from anxiety about how things turn out. You do your part fully and accept the rest. Acting with purpose also means knowing when not to act. Silence can be a decision. Walking away can be strength. Rest can be discipline. Not every situation requires your reaction. Choosing restraint is often more powerful than choosing action. Impulse feeds on emotion. Purpose feeds on values. When emotions run high, the Stoic returns to principle. What is the right thing to do? What action reflects patience, courage, or self-control? This question cuts through confusion. Over time, this practice reshapes habits. Purposeful actions repeated daily become character. You no longer need constant reminders. Acting with intention becomes natural. Impulse weakens as discipline grows. This rule also protects time. Impulsive actions waste hours on regret, distraction, and correction. Purposeful actions respect time as limited and valuable. You become more selective with commitments and more present in what you choose to do. Acting with purpose creates inner order. The mind becomes less noisy because decisions are fewer and clearer. You are not constantly debating what to do next. You already know your direction. This does not mean life becomes rigid. Purpose allows flexibility. When circumstances change, you adapt without losing direction. Impulse resists change. Purpose adjusts intelligently. Each day presents countless chances to act without thinking. Each one is an opportunity to practice restraint. The Stoic does not aim for perfection. He aims for consistency, one deliberate choice at a time. By acting with purpose instead of impulse, you reclaim control of your life. You stop being pushed by desire and fear. You begin moving by choice and reason. The day becomes something you shape, rather than something that happens to you. Your actions align with who you intend to be, not with what you momentarily feel. Endurance is not about enjoying difficulty. It is about meeting it without complaint. Stoicism teaches that complaining does not remove pain, reduce effort, or improve outcomes. It only adds another burden. When you complain, you turn discomfort into suffering. When you remain silent and steady, you preserve strength. Difficulty is a natural part of life. Fatigue, loss, delay, discomfort, and frustration appear without warning. The untrained mind reacts by protesting. It asks why this is happening and demands relief. This reaction weakens resolve. The Stoic response is different. It accepts the weight and carries it. Enduring without complaint does not mean denying hardship. It means acknowledging reality without dramatizing it. You recognize that something is difficult, but you do not attach emotion that makes it heavier. You conserve energy by refusing to add unnecessary resistance. Complaints often come from the belief that life should be easier than it is. This belief is the real problem. When you release this expectation, endurance becomes possible. You stop arguing with reality. You focus on what must be done. Each morning, the Stoic prepares for discomfort. You remind yourself that today may require effort without reward, patience without recognition, and work without comfort. This mental preparation prevents self-pity when difficulty arrives. Endurance builds inner strength. Each time you carry a burden quietly, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Confidence grows not from comfort, but from surviving discomfort with dignity. Complaining also spreads weakness. It invites others into your frustration and reinforces your own negativity. Silence breaks this cycle. It keeps the mind clear and focused. You do not deny others' support, but you refuse to amplify misery. Enduring without complaint sharpens discipline. When you stop voicing discomfort, you stop feeding it. The mind adapts. What once felt unbearable becomes familiar. Familiarity reduces fear. This practice does not mean becoming cold or emotionless. It means choosing when expression is useful. Complaining rarely is. Action always is. The Stoic expresses concern when it leads to solution, not when it leads to pity. Endurance teaches patience. Some problems cannot be solved quickly. Some pains must be carried for a time. Resisting this truth creates frustration. Accepting it creates calm. Life often tests you when no one is watching. There may be no praise for your effort and no recognition for your restraint. Enduring without complaint is a private victory. It strengthens character even in silence. Over time, this discipline reshapes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who is constantly burdened. You begin to see yourself as someone who can carry weight. This shift changes how you face future challenges. Endurance also creates freedom. When you are no longer controlled by discomfort, fear loses power. You act despite difficulty. You move forward even when conditions are poor. This mindset reduces resentment. You stop blaming life, others, or fate for hardship. You accept that difficulty is not personal. It is simply part of existence. Each challenge becomes training. Every hard moment is an opportunity to practice steadiness. You do not need to announce your struggle for it to be meaningful. By enduring difficulty without complaint, you maintain dignity. You preserve inner order, even when external conditions are harsh. This quiet strength is one of the highest forms of discipline. The Stoic does not ask for life to be lighter. He strengthens his ability to carry it.